They were our boys and girls, defenders of Warsaw and defenders of Polish independence, residents of the capital, insurgents, Poles. Then, on August 1st, 1944, the hour of trial came. Major Jakub Nowakowski, alias Tomek, was 19 years old. We launched attacks, but they were repelled very bloodily, and I was wounded at that time. They had their homeland in their hearts and often makeshift weapons in their hands, but they went into battle against a powerful and ruthless enemy. The Germans had one goal: to raze Warsaw to the ground and kill as many Poles as possible. The first wounded people they brought to me, I don't know how they ended up on the street, but they were almost completely burned by a flamethrower. There was no hope for them. Since 1939, Warsaw and other Polish cities had been methodically destroyed and plundered by the Germans, and Poles were brutally murdered. But we had our heroes, boys and girls who did not hesitate for a moment to stand up in defense of the capital and their homeland. What happened on August 1st, 1944 was a clear voice and expression of the wonderful citizens of the underground Polish state at the time, and it was a cry for freedom, independence, and sovereignty. The price was life. In the fighting against the Germans, 18,000 insurgents and up to 200,000 civilians lost their lives. In the Wola massacre alone, that is, the extermination of the district of Warsaw, between 40,000 and 60,000 residents were killed. This place was the site of the most terrible event in the history of what we call the Wola massacre, which was the murder of the civilian population of Warsaw by the Germans, by the Nazis, by German soldiers. In the first days of the Warsaw Uprising, the Germans began the extermination of the capital's population. Warsaw was destroyed, but so were other Polish cities. Tenement houses were razed to the ground, works of art were looted, factories and private apartments were stolen. War losses exceeded 6,200 billion Polish zloty. The Germans did indeed have plans to destroy Warsaw, and when the uprising broke out, Hitler gave the order to annihilate Warsaw. The responsibility for the destruction of Warsaw lies solely with the Germans. All this was seen and documented by Zbigniew Grochowski, photographer of the Warsaw Uprising. He also captured how young insurgents, armed with stones and pliers, attacked German tanks and armored vehicles. Those famous Warsaw children, literally 10 years old, crawled among the rubble, and one of them, the 10th, because 9 were shot by Germans, managed to immobilize such a Goliath, and then it was possible to obtain a lot of explosives. Today, it is difficult to imagine, but 81 years ago, these wonderful boys and brave girls found themselves in the heat of battle in occupied Warsaw. They had to fight, and they had to survive. I had a very difficult time crossing Moniuszki Street, which was being swept by machine gun fire, and I had to deliver a report, so at some point I threw myself forward. I ran across. Fortunately, I wasn't hit by any bullets, and I made it to Dąbrowskiego Square with the report. The Warsaw insurgents, heroes, they set a beautiful example then, and they set a beautiful example today. It was our duty. That's how we were raised, that above all, we must defend our homeland in such moments of danger.